what we are now trying to think is that maybe it is very important to think about the two important aspects in establishing of a new type of primary industry model. One is the necessity of establishing new commons, not just to ask the foresters, the farmers, and the fishermen. It's not enough for the revitalizing of these areas. Particularly if you look at the fishing ports along the coast, most of the fishing ports are strongly damaged by the tsunami, and it is extremely important to re-establish the fishing ports along the coast. But in that case, because the fishermen or the association are having the fishing rights, and of course we need to appreciate their traditional rights, but also we should think how we could invite the other different stakeholders, including the local government, the private sectors, and the NGOs, and even the urban dwellers to join to this industry and try to re-establish the system. In that case, not just a traditional common system, but we should think about the possibility of establishing the new type of commons by inviting of different stakeholders, as I already mentioned. So this is one of the challenges, how we could build such a horizontal relationship among the different stakeholders. This is one thing that we need to consider. And second important thing is that we should establish a new type of business model based on the natural capital. Last week, I was in Sado Island, where they organized an international conference on the eco-friendly agriculture. And I delivered my speech by utilizing the Sado Island as an example. Of course, Sado is well known as the island where they are successful in trying to restore the environment of the Japanese ibis. And now the Japanese ibis could produce their children, and so that this nature conservation activities are very looking forward type activity, not just to protect the nature, but to try to restore the nature in the natural environment. And so this is extremely important. But in order to ensure the habitats for this ibis, it is also important for them in the local community to keep the natural environment so that the ibis can have enough food to take from the ecological habitats. And so the local people try to introduce the eco-friendly agriculture, particularly the rice farming activities. And then this is not just for the restoration of the ecosystem, but also introducing of the certification system to certify the quality of the rice produced on the ecological, eco-friendly manner could get more value than the normal rice production system. And so another important thing is that how we could add the value to the agriculture products and forestry and the fishery products. And also, there are lots of the different commodities that we could find so that we could add the value to these individual products. But more important thing is try to integrate these commodities and the way of the business so that the island itself could be a subject for business. And so the island itself to be a business model, it is an idea that I proposed to the local government. And also this trial could be combined with the ecotourism and also the other type of the activities, and so that the island could invite more people from outside, including those from the other part of the world. It is therefore important to combine the idea of creating a new commons with the concept of creating a new type of business model. And what I'm thinking is that either we could also consider in the affected areas by introducing the two very important concepts. Another important thing is that affected areas need to consider some mountainous hilly areas where the people can relocate. And in order to ask them to move to the higher lands, of course, you must cut the hills. And therefore, the size of the developed area should be as small as possible. And therefore, as a result, we should ask them to establish a compact city or compact village on the higher elevation. And therefore, this idea could be also combined with the compact city, which is very environment friendly from the various aspects, including in order to reduce the CO2 emissions and so on. And also, the lands along the coast, some of the lands are quite significant in land subsidence. In this area, it is also worthy to consider to denaturalize the ecosystem so that the previous residential area could be converted into the natural wetland, which will also contribute to for adding the value of the affected area. So again, this is a way of the sustainability science approach, try to integrate the fragmented discussions. So our idea that try to apply in this affected area is try to combine the concept of the Satoyama and Satoumi. The Satoyama is people and nature relationship on the terrestrial ecosystem. And then Satoumi is, again, the people and the nature relationship along the coast. And previously, there was a link between the two, but because of the different management system, these landscapes are rather fragmented. And it is our challenge. Either we could really rebuild the sound relationship between the Satoyama and Satoumi. Along the coast, we could see the many landscapes which are the on the one side, rich in the Satoyama landscapes, and the other side is rich in Satoumi landscapes. Unfortunately, we could not see the strong relationship between the two. And so one of the ideas is try to combine these two areas. And from the mountains through the agriculture fields, through the river, and then the lowland and the coast, and then try to combine all the different type of the agriculture, forestry, and the fisheries activities, and so that we could establish one sort of the heterogeneous landscape system to be utilized fully by the people while try to conserve the natural ecosystems. And this will also contribute to the resilient society, including the enhancing of the security of the local areas. And also it could contribute to the development of green tourism or blue tourism. I have been involved in the process of rebuilding of affected areas. One of the issues discussed at the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries is that there are many sort of examples how the people could utilize the woody debris for the bioenergy sources. And after using of debris for the bioenergy sources, and then we further could utilize the Satoyama forest, which has been abandoned for many years, and we could fully utilize. And this would also contribute to the decentralization of the renewable energy sources in the areas. Another example is that we could see many abandoned agricultural lands, and we try to change the governmental rule, and so that we could introduce the mega solar power plants even in the abandoned agriculture field. And one of the key issues is how we could try to correct the abandoned agriculture land, which are subdivided into the small pieces, and to create the bigger sites applicable for the development of the mega solar power plants.